Hey everybody, how you doing? Oliver Joyce here from Whiskey Barrel Studios, of course, and it's been almost a month. It's been over 3 weeks since my last video, the hour-long announcement video for Swords and Sandals VI, and the last 3 weeks have been very busy and very productive, but for some reason I just haven't been able to get in front of the camera, and partly that's because of just being just so busy with everything else, but partly it's because I've thought I'm not sure what I want to talk about right now and what to show you. And this video in particular is firstly to say Swords and Sandals VI has begun. If you missed the hour-long announcement video, which you can't be blamed for because I really dragged that one out. Of course, the next game in this series is Swords and Sandals VI, and work has begun on that. I've been working on it now for the last 2.5 weeks. Actual code for the game, design, everything. I've got art, I've got some music. We're in production now. I'm not mucking around here. But I've made the decision, and this is something I haven't done in my games before, at least not since I've worked at Whiskey Barrel Studios for myself. Back in the old days, nothing was ever shown until the game was launched, because they didn't even really have a YouTube channel back then. And such things as social media and promotion just weren't really, part of the agenda back in the old days. But since I've been working at Whiskey Barrel Studios, whenever I've had a game in mind, I've usually shown off the development process. From the moment I had something up on screen, I've shown you how I put it together. And that's from Ships and Scurvy, which became Swords and Sandals Pirates, Swords and Sandals V, of course, Swords and Sandals II Redux, Spartacus, Crusader. I did a lot of developer videos for a great many of those. And one of the things that I learned about that is you do certainly, you gain a new audience to a certain degree, but you risk fatigue. You risk tiring out your audience if you're constantly showing them every little update. Here's what I've done this week. Here, now we have, gladiators have helmets and all this kind of stuff like that. By the time you go to reveal the full game, everyone's like, oh yeah, we've seen all that. And I want this game to be a little bit different. I want it to be a bit of a wow moment. I want you to be as excited about it as I am. And so I've made the decision to basically not show any art or gameplay or anything from the game until it's quite a far way into development. So we're talking months and months and months. I'll do these videos and I'll tell you what I'm up to, maybe I'll tease a few little bits and pieces, but in general I'm gonna try and just keep my cards close to my chest and just work away in relative silence until I've got something that I think you guys want to see. What have I been up to? I've been wanting to get in front of the camera, but then part of me is like, I just want to work on the game. I've been non-stop working on the game. And, I thought about doing a Games Gladiator series again and, doing an Ask Me Anything and all that. That will come, but right now I just haven't been in the YouTube sort of headspace because it's a great thing to be able to interact with people and get your thoughts out there and so on, but it can be quite distracting, and sometimes you're in the zone and all you want to do is code, and I've been doing tons of tutorials and just learning as I go because from the last video, I'm not sure if you remember, but I've decided to go with Godot. What do you think it's called? It's actually called Godot, I found out, but I'm going to call it Godot because it's more fun. And I've decided that is the game engine we're going to be using for Swords and Sandals VI. I've been using it for about 5 weeks, just doing tutorials and just learning the ins and outs on it. It's not perfect. My initial sort of 1 week, 2 week thoughts were, this is incredible. This is the best thing ever. It has shortcomings and weird oddities and so on. So far, I can live with them because what I've been able to do in Godot in the last 2.5 weeks, it would have taken me months in the old air and styling format. And Unity, if I knew it better, I could probably do it as fast, but Godot is better for UI. And UI, I mean user interface, things like, character menus and, little heads-up displays and, your little inventory screens and stuff like that. You're able to really put together UI fast. And that's one of the things that is the slowest part of game dev is UI. I swear I spend about 50% of my time, or maybe more, designing UI screens. And back in the old days, if I designed something, it was really hard to change it around. If I wanted to move a panel from here to here or move these things around, I was typing them all manually. Inventory box Y position plus equals 50. Therefore, character screen box Y must equal inventory box Y minus this. It was all done via code, and that's just the way it was done. It was just a pretty clunky way of doing it, but it was the way I knew, and I got very familiar with it. But with Godot, you can literally lay things out on screen, design them, move them around. Everything is sort of scaled pretty nicely, and I've got it actually running on my phone, which I'll show you now. I'm not going to show you now, but it is running quite nicely on the Android phone. What have we got so far? Let's talk. So I have a main menu. I've got an introduction screen with, the little Whiskey Barrel Studios and eGames logos. These are the things that, usually when you prototype a game, you get straight into the actual game and, you don't worry about all the menus and stuff like that. But for me, I'd like to develop in a different way. I develop bits and pieces everywhere. I like to know that I can get menus up and running and switch between menus and that kind of thing. And when I'm doing that, I kind of figure, well, I might as well put the publisher screen in now. I might as well put the credit screen in now and that kind of thing, because, while I'm on a roll, work on what you want to work on when you feel like working on it to a point. And, this is an advice that, I would give to most game developers. It works for me, but, in most cases, if you don't know what you're doing, you want to get straight into prototyping the game first and, making them run and jump and everything like that. But because I know that the Swords and Sandals game engine is, the systems are quite proven, I know that that's going to work. I'm confident that, I don't need to prototype stuff for months and months before I'm confident of having something. So I've been working very hard on the character creation screens as well. I have a fantastic artist who goes by the handle Bokimi, and he is from Russia, and he's been awesome to work with. I can't tell you how pleased I am to have an artist of this caliber on board. I'm going to say it's the best artist I've ever worked with, like hands down, just in terms of quality. There've been other artists who've been as professional, but in terms of the quality and the professionalism and the enthusiasm for the work, this guy is awesome. He responds quickly. He gets stuff done. He shows me sketches, and we've been able to put together already a male and a female avatar for the game. We have about 30 different hairstyles and beards and different eyes and so on. I have the characters moving. They move up and down like this slowly, like they're breathing. I'm using an animation tool called Spriter, which I got to tell you, I don't love it. It's fit for purpose. It's a bit clunky. It gets the job done. I still think Flash was a better animation tool, but this will do for now. If it blows up in my face later, I'll probably have to change to something else. But hey, look, I've got animations from Spriter into Godot, and they're all working, and they're all colorized and everything. So you can now go through the character creator and select all different hairstyles and beards, different species and homelands and so on. And okay, where I'm going next with this is one of the big, well, it's not a big change. One of the changes for Swords and Sandals VI is I wanted to make characters a little bit more customizable. You can have a species, a human, a Cycladian, even an automaton, the robots who are returning for Swords and Sandals VI. And they have little, basically not races is the wrong word, but they have homelands. And so depending which homeland you have, you'll have slightly different attributes and slightly different skin tones. So the humans can be from Phaetor, Taj Brandir, Dracondir, Braxis, a number of different cities. And their default will be like Phaetor has blonde hair and pale skin, or Drakendir has black hair and tan skin and that kind of thing. And I've done that just to make everyone feel like, oh, I know that character. They're probably from Taj Brandir or whatever it is. You can alter this for the humans anyway. If you want to be from Taj Brandir and not be dark-skinned, you can change their skin color and so on. They'll also get bonuses and penalties, majorly for the species. So maybe humans have plus 10% to stamina, and maybe a negative thing might be like suffers extra stress penalties or something like that. And Cycladians might have double hit chance when fighting at nighttime in the dark. I want races to feel a little bit more different and that kind of thing. And the homelands will also have a little bonus, which is just, a minor thing. So being able to mix and match these things, you should get quite interesting characters and avatars. And you can, of course, adjust the height and weight of them as well. What else? You can... I had something I wanted to say. What was it? Usually it's such a stream of consciousness, I know exactly what I'm about to say next. But, character names. In the past, Swords and Sandals characters just all pulled from either a male pool of names or a female pool of names. And that was everything from, Conan the Mighty to, John Smith to, Jane Plonkins to, Fantasia of Gallostones. What I've decided to do for this one is, depending on where you're from, you'll have a different name pool. So Praetorians will select from English and French-based names. Gunterians, like the Boars the Mighty and the blue-skinned people up there, will have Slavic names. That's thanks to Michael Loder, my good friend from Poland, who's already submitted a bunch of cool Polish names. And the Cycladians will have made-up names, which I'm going to use as sort of a cool little a name generator using like prefixes and suffixes like Og Zax or R Blocks, that kind of thing, and then mix and match cool names. Same with the automatons, they'll have different sort of letter and number combinations to form their names. They'll also randomly be able to select from fantasy names, so your Aragorns and your Racelands and those kind of thing will be in there as option names. Probably not those exact names, but the more fantastical sounding names will appear in the game, but they'll just be a little rarer. So I'm going to go through and sort of assign different races, or races is the wrong term, different homelands to different name backgrounds. Taj Brandir will get sort of Arabic and Indian style names, and the Braxis will get sort of Italian and then Latin names as well. Edengarth, the Edites, will get Spanish-based names, that kind of thing. I think that, not only does it add a bit of flavor to the game, but it also includes people from all around the world who are so used to seeing only English names in their games. So, what else? The character creator is, I'm going to say, about 75% done. I should have that done sometime next week. Then it'll be onto the shop system, which I'll talk about in the next video. Also, a quick shout-out to my good friend Alex Tassani, also known as Electro, who's already started making a great soundtrack for the game. This isn't going to spoil too much, but the soundtrack for the game is going to have quite a cool, a bit of a different vibe to it, but it's going to be more of an 80s sort of synth slash power rock feel to it. So if you can imagine the soundtracks for like the Transformers movie, the 80s one, or He-Man, or even Rocky, Bloodsport, that all those kind of songs like, You Got the Touch, Fight to Survive. If you watch Cobra Kai, the awesome series on Netflix, have a listen to the background music in that. And this is what we're kind of going for the game. And we've got a bunch of tracks there that I reckon they really pump. They're awesome. And the reason that we put this music in the game is because, the game is certainly a fantasy game set in a world of castles and barbarians and swords and dragons and everything. In this edition, the automaton robots return to Brandor. And because they bring with them a sort of an 80s sort of, they're almost like Terminator robots with their future technology and laser swords and that kind of thing. It just feels like a classic 80s mashup, you know what I mean? And I want it to have that colorful, nostalgic vibe that I'm, so fond of. And so that is going to be set the scene for this game. It'll be different. It's something that won't work for everyone. Some people will go, I hate it. I wish you had the old music. But, we've got to iterate. We've got to move forward. And I want this to stand out from every other game out there. I really want this game to be the Swords and Sandals, that puts us on the map. We're talking multiplayer. We're talking a single-player campaign that's big, lots of arena champions. We're talking deep customization of characters and skills and crafting of items. We're talking a very interesting new combat mechanic. We're talking adding stress to battles. Think Darkest Dungeons if you have played that one. There is lots to look forward to for the next Sword and Sandals. So I'm going to leave you now and keep working on the game, and I'll bring you another dev video in the next week or two just to update you on what I'm doing without actually showing you gameplay and so on. I hope you guys can understand. I will do another Ask Me Anything video in the coming weeks and months because I know that's been a long time. I've still got to answer all the Discord questions, and I do apologize to you guys. I'm sorry. It's been ages. What I'm going to go through is all those Discord questions and try and answer a lot of them in one video. So hopefully that can make amends for that. On a personal note, been pretty tired this last couple of weeks. As I'm sure we're all tired from one thing or another. It's been a rough, basically since the end of 2019 till now. Certainly in Australia, we're out of the woods pretty much to a certain degree with COVID. I know in other countries it's still having a tough time of it. Vaccines are rolling out. But I can't complain. Things are pretty good. My littlest boy, Charlie's been teething, and he's been a bit sick with a tummy ache and a fever, and he's waking up all the time. So my wife and I have just been pretty tired in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So it has made development a little hard. I sometimes feel like got to have your coffee, 2, 3, 4 a day, just to keep going, because it can be 9 o'clock in the morning and I'm already a bit wrecked because I've been up at 11, and I was up at 12, and then I was up at 2 for an hour and that kind of thing. It's just that broken sleep that you have when you have little kids and babies especially. It's a phase. They grow out of it. I know most of you who watch this channel, kids and parenting is a long way away in your future, a long time away. And I think, it's not something that interested me when I was very young. And why would it? You got your whole life ahead before you go to the next phase. And it's an awesome phase. Kids are brilliant. They change your life in every way, in the best ways. But they do impact on your life and your time and your health and your sanity when they're little. So if I'm not making as many videos, or I seem a little scatterbrained in these videos and so on, you know why. The boys they keep us up at night. All right, my friends. I suppose that's just about it for now. Really looking forward to bringing you more Swords and Sandals. This has been a great journey to get to this point. I'm excited about where Swords and Sandals 6 is going. I'm a little daunted because I've been learning Godot only for sort of 5 weeks or so, and I feel like, making good progress, but I sometimes feel like, my gosh, this is a big project. And a new game engine, an entire new game, new code base, all new bugs. So far bug-free. New artist, different style working, full-time on this now. The stakes feel higher, and that is a good thing, and it's a daunting thing, but I can't wait to bring it to you. On that note, leave me a question or a comment on what you'd like to see in Swords and Sandals 6. I do take your notes and I write them down, and there's been some fantastic comments in the Discord about Swords and Sandals 6, and some of the users have brought up some suggestions which I've thought, I got to have that in the game. I have to have that. So, jump over to Discord and please join in and talk amongst yourselves. I don't go there as often as I could because it is can be distracting. But I do read as many of the posts as I can, and every now and again try to jump in. But if you want to stay tuned on what's going on in the game, and you haven't subscribed, if you stumbled across this channel, you know the drill. Subscribe, hit the bell, all that sort of thing. I try to post every week if I can. It's been a bit slack this month, but usually Swords and Sandals related stuff, music, that kind of thing. Also, there is the Games Gladiator, which, once I'm more comfortable with where Swords and Sandals is going, I will bring the Games Gladiator series back, because it is a bit of fun to play these games and, talk to you and, like two friends hanging out, having a coffee and playing a game together. I know we've all been pretty isolated lately, so it's something that I like to do to connect with you guys and also for my own sanity. Okay, for real this time I'm going. Until next time, my friends, bye for now.